dear Loud Podcast audience, welcome from Sheraton Astana Hotel. I have a pleasure that today our hotel, Sheraton Astana, is delivering the third podcast in our group of podcasts targeted for you, the audience interested in hospitality, interested in tourism, interested in management and in growth in all spheres of leadership. And today I'm very honored to have a great group of leaders which will be sharing their experiences of growth. The idea when we started this podcast was to present, I would say, 3 generations of leaders that we have in our hotel. From veterans, such as Makhabbat, to rising stars, such as our dear Erbol, and to a new up-and-coming icons, if I can say, our Assem, our Voyager, that is currently joining the industry. So we will be showcasing their growth, their path, how they've grown in the industry, their experiences. And we do hope you will find them interesting, motivating, and it will make you excited for your growth, potentially joining Marriott, potentially joining hospitality, but as well, most importantly, becoming better leaders in the future. My first speaker or a guest of our podcast is our legend of sales, if I'm allowed to say. Our veteran when it comes to Kazakhstan, well-known Makhabbat Bayaman. I have a great pleasure to work with you in Sheraton Astana Hotel, to constantly learn from you and be in your presence of your experience and knowledge. So today, if you'll be so kind to share with our audience about your growth, about your vision as a leader. My first question would be, as probably some of us that listen in the podcast know, you are sales background. You were a great sales leader. You've grown through the sales discipline. And then you decided to grow and move to operations. Could you tell me, like, moving to operations, what kind of skills from sales discipline were transferable and useful for you in operations?
Thank you, Mislav. First of all, thank you very much for the warm introduction of me. So definitely sales and marketing background is an advantage. To have this background is an advantage. And in sales and marketing, you learn how to understand hotel success and hotel operation from ownership perspective. In operations, I trained to understand the hotel from the guest perspective. And this combination of 360 degree gives me understanding of what truly drives the hotel success. So I can translate guest expectations into operational action while also ensuring that our approach supports revenue growth, brand positioning, and the long-term profitability. From the skills perspective, I would highlight data-driven decision-making. In sales and marketing, you learn to analyze trends, demand, segmentation, and the competition. And this same analytical approach helps me optimize operation, staffing level, and the service flow.
Thank you for sharing, Makhabbat. It's great to hear that in our industry, growing in one discipline and then moving to another, there are many transferable skills and knowledge that you can move and continue to grow your career to become even a stronger leader. As you said, you're learning some new skills and you're delivering some old skills and you're gaining some new skills in the process. As any leader, I'm sure it happened to you as well, what would be your crucial moment where you decided to be a leader or to take the path of leadership? Would you share with our audience?
Yeah, sure. So looking back at my early leadership experience, the turning point was when I began mentoring future leaders within my team by closely working with them. And seeing their growth and success are very rewarding and very fulfilling. And I realized at the time that leadership is not just about setting a vision or driving for result. Of course it is, but it is also about creating a team culture where people feel valued, supported, and motivated to reach their potential.
I mean, that's really wonderful. I think that's what the leadership is all about. We need people to grow, to develop, for us to lead, for them even to become better leaders, and even one day, I would say, outshining ourselves. And this is something that's very close-knit to our culture, the culture of our company, of taking care of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Coming personally from operations, I see operations as a heartbeat of the hotel. I'm a little bit biased here.
Mm-hmm.
So for anybody, let's say a future Mislav or somebody similar that is maybe today leader in hospitality or wants to become operational leader,
Yeah.
what would be your advice to them? What are the necessary skills to become successful operational leader in a hotel?
It is many of them, but there are three qualities that are essential to me. I think it is situational awareness, understanding how every department impacts the guest journey and the business performance. It is definitely emotional intelligence, the ability to listen, motivate, and support people, and accountability and the ownership. Because strong leaders, they don't wait for the direction. They take initiatives, make a decision, and stand behind the results.
This is really right. I have to say, even from my perspective, you shared all the right traits. This is for sure. And kind of my last question would be same as your career and within our company. We are very proud to say that many times people grow up from the entry position all the way up to the leadership positions. What would be your advice for people that are in hospitality or planning to join hospitality in entry position? What is your advice? What kind of skills or traits they should have to grow from entry to the leadership position one day?
I do believe there are many of them, but I will highlight that is essential to me. So, first of all, it is I would advise master the basics, because excellence in daily task builds credibility and opens opportunities. Be proactive, volunteer for the project, ask for feedback, and show willingness to learn beyond your role. Invest in the soft skills. Nowadays, communication, problem solving, teamwork will take you further than the technical knowledge alone.
Thank you, Makhabbat, for sharing the wisdom with our audience. To have you as a leader presenting today, sharing your path, the skills and traits that you find crucial and critical, not only in sales, but as well as in operations. It's really something that I truly hope our audience should embrace. And what I really like what you shared, these are really all the important characteristics of a successful leader, that if audience should embrace some of them, I'm certain not only they will be successful in hospitality, but in any career they endeavor, same as you did.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed our interview.
Our dear loud audience, after our dear Makhabbat Bayaman, I have a great privilege to have our amazing Voyager and today sales coordinator, Assem, joining me for our podcast. So, Assem, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm very happy to have you with us. And one of the main reasons when I was thinking about what should we present on our loud podcast is for our audience, the one very nice example of up-and-coming generation of hoteliers, of up-and-coming generation of leaders that joined hospitality recently. And who better to choose than our successful Voyager Assem, that grown as a Voyager in our rooms division, joined the Voyager program, and grown from rooms division into the sales position. And today, I have to say, very successful sales coordinator, growing and performing very well, amazingly, basically, in our hotel. So, Assem, my first question for you, why Voyager program? What made you interested to join the program that we are proud of to develop the young leaders of the future?
So I was a fresh graduate, and my university then had a bit of collaboration going on with the Marriott brand, and they offered to apply for the program. And the program inspired for me to apply because it gave us an opportunity for profound self-discovery. And when you are fresh graduate, you don't know what to do. It was a best choice for me because it had a structured journal for personal and professional growth, and I think that was a key part.
Assem, thank you for this great insight why you joined the Voyager program. But could you now share with me what were the most important skills, development skills or leadership skills that you had to develop to be a successful leader that you are today?
Well, thank you. And I think the skills I need to develop rapidly were firstly communication and leadership. Leadership because the program itself focuses on that, and they happened to discover what is a leadership. I stumbled upon that the communication is one of the key things that allows to be a great leader, exceptionally in hospitality environment.
So now being, let's call it a young leader, somebody that as a Voyager had a very big part of responsibility, assisting our rooms team, today being responsible to delivering the ever-demanding sales event budget and forecast. So what would be your advice for the young leaders joining hospitality or potentially becoming young leaders in any other industry?
So I think young leaders now should have great emotional intelligence to understand your team, to understand everything, but also to have that soft side and also be aggressive, not towards your team, I mean, but towards the market, because the market itself is very competitive. I think every market is competitive nowadays, is to be aggressive in what you want to do, and always to be able for more opportunities, to stay open-minded and be flexible, because the industry changes very rapidly.
Thank you for sharing that. This is definitely one thing that even today as a senior leader, I think adaptability and flexibility really, it's critical, especially with the speed of change we are facing today due to technology or general dynamics in all the markets in the world. If I could ask you, if you can share with me an insight
Mhm.
on your team, you have opportunity today to work with one of, and you know how much I love our sales team, right? We're really some of our very experienced, high-performing sales leaders in the market and, of course, within our hotel. Can you share me some insights from our team? Like, what did you learn being around such high-impact, very successful sales individuals?
So I think being in event sales, it requires high level of coordination and delegation, because it basically applies to all the department that is in the hotel, and you need to have a focus, obviously, in what you do, and that's it, because there's strong interdependence between the departments here in the hotel, and you need to be able to delegate everything quite well.
So obviously being a Voyager, you had opportunity to work closely with your coach, with your champion, with your mentor. Can you maybe share with our loud podcast audience, what were your learnings from all these avenues of, let's call it avenues of wisdom during your growth as a Voyager?
Well, I think I found myself very lucky because I had a great support from everybody who happened to have some leadership and mentor background to me. My coach was also incredible. He taught me how to speak nicely and speak that way that people can understand me how I want them for me to understand. And I had a wonderful champion who also had the great background being a Voyager, so it was a great communication and a great understanding, because whenever we had our sessions and whenever I had some issues going on, you were the one who solved them for me.
Thank you.
So, yes, how did you feel about it?
So for me personally, it's always rewarding as a leader, and something that Makhabbat shared as well. As a leader, having an opportunity to grow the future generation of people that will become leaders, to share some of your experiences, some of your learnings, sometimes with the intention for them not to repeat maybe some of them, but most importantly, to grow them to the success and to aspire them and to motivate them. All of us in our growth have moments of challenges, moments where we maybe even potentially doubt ourselves. But then I always believe, because I was lucky as well in my career to have leaders that managed to advise me or give me an insight how they became successful. I truly believe this is now my role, even as a general manager, to give back to the future generation that will be hopefully in my chair or even more senior. And obviously being Voyager myself, I do have a little bit of a close heart or warm heart for the Voyagers which are joining the company? Because I do understand their, let's call it, trials and challenges. And I always said this is more kind of opportunity growth for them, fast opportunity growth for them. And they're getting to that place of opportunities through those same challenges and challenging themselves and growing as individuals and growing as leaders. So I do understand what they're going through. So I always have a little bit of a soft spot for a Voyager, I have to say. So Assem, how did you see your progression from the Voyager program to, let's call it, career path that you're on now? How was this progression for you? How did you see it develop? Was it kind of organic? Was it the vision that you had?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens later, maybe if you can share with our audience.
So now I'll be completed the program, and as you mentioned before, working in event sales. Through the journey, I learned so much and more that I can ask for. I learned the confidence in which field I excel more, and which is more closer to my side, and I think that's it.
So, being a Voyager, obviously joining the program, and the program continues to go live, and I'm looking forward to join some new Voyagers to our property, hopefully very, very soon. We have some already on property, like our dear Aushan, and more to join in the future. What would be your advice if somebody that went through the program and currently is in a successful role? What would be your advice for the Voyagers joining the program?
I think it's good to stay curious all the time, and also to be able to adapt to rapid changes, because you move through from department to other department quickly. You need to adapt very quickly, and you need to stay curious in every department, because that's how you're going to figure out your path, what you want to do in the future, and yes, and not to lose the focus of the program itself.
I love it. Curiosity is a very strong word, and it really makes us all successful. Be curious, be confident, and learn more, and be adaptable. As well, I would definitely agree with this. And these are traits and skills that any leader should have in any industry going forward.
Yes.
Thank you, Assem. It's been a pleasure. I'm sure it was very inspiring for our future Voyagers and any young leaders and potential young hoteliers joining the industry or maybe joining Marriott.
Thank you, Mislav, as well.
Our dear loud audience, our last guest speaker, unfortunately our last guest speaker for today is our rising star, Erbol. The reason why I have chosen Erbol to be our speaker today and to share with you, because I have to say here is our rising talent, somebody that has joined us as a leader, as a manager of our well-known Salters restaurant that has been many times rewarded and recognized by TripAdvisor, being #1 restaurant in Astana, and as well very recently has been awarded by Luxury Awards for the best luxury steakhouse in Asia. So congratulations, Erbol.
Thank you so much, Mislav.
Obviously, all of that success brought you that today you are the leader of 2 of our outlets. You are our outlet leader. Not only 2 outlets, you are leading our lobby bar, Salters, Emilia, our pool bar and pool terrace, and in-room dining. So quite a few outlets you need to lead, but obviously the one which come most to mind is Emilia and Salters being kind of the biggest ones, right? But all of them are important. And the reason why I as well selected you, not because of your importance and your rise in your position, as well somebody that's very passionate in their discipline. As you are somebody is very passionate in food and beverage. And that's where you see yourself. And I always have pleasure to work with people in my hotel which are very passionate in the discipline and the direction they have chosen to take. So, Erbol, would you share with me, for example, and with our audience, what led you to be so passionate in food and beverage? And how does it feel today to be leader of, 2 outlets, but let's say many more outlets?
So, first of all, that's all about to find the way in your life. And as you mentioned, it's all about to find your passion in your life. So, as you know, I studied in medicine, and for me, working in a restaurants in the city, also in a major hotels in the city, I decided that my passion is in the hospitality industry. I joined hospitality industry since 2018, starting and working in the other brands, then working in luxury cruise line company, and then I joined Sheraton Astana.
Thank you, Erbol, for sharing. And what I always find very interesting about your career path, somebody that was on the path to become a doctor and take care of people through medicine and health, it joined hospitality. And for me, this is such a nice comparison because obviously being a doctor, we do take care of people in their hours of need, but as well, in hospitality, we do the same. We just create memories for them, and you are definitely doing
And emotions.
and emotions, exactly. And you're definitely doing that being in food and beverage, bringing that passion, bringing that love, bringing that experience, and creating those memories. Can you tell me, Erbol, and share with our audience one situation that was the most challenging situation so far in your career, but as well that it was the most rewarding one?
So the most challenging in the beginning of my career, it was to trust people. Because in the beginning, I didn't understand that the results mostly come from the teamwork. And so that's why to trust somebody, it was quite challenging. And by developing my skills step by step, I started to rely on people, rely on my team, and after that to succeed and have such kind of a results. For example, as you mentioned about Salters, #1 TripAdvisor restaurant, mostly 2 years, and the luxury award restaurant. So that what brings in life the results and also the successful in general.
Thank you for sharing, Erbol. Definitely, I can relate to trust. The bigger the teams, the more people you need to manage, and trust is such a critical component. And great to see that you have grown as a leader in this particular area, and you have seen this as an opportunity to develop, and that's something that made you successful today.
Yeah.
Standards are very important for success in a hotel, in food and beverage, I would say basically in any industry. In such a dynamic industry such as food and beverage, how do you maintain and drive standards or even maybe elevate standards in your day-to-day job?
Well, that's all about the lead the people first, teach them, train them, develop their soft and the hard skills as well. For example, for me, it's important to be a role model for the team because, for example, me as a manager being on the floor, of course, just because of my operations, I'm mostly so involved in the paperwork at the moment, but I do my best to have, for example, 30 minutes in each outlet to see the operations on everyday base. And that brings to understand what's going well, what's going not well. And so that's why that's, as you mentioned, all about the standards. And to keep within the standards, it's a challenging. And all in all, being a manager, it means to keep all the standards, involve team, teach them and train them.
Thank you. I definitely have to underpin the importance of standards. When you work for such a large company such as Marriott, we all know that we are very driven in delivering our standards.
That's true.
And as well making sure that standards are part of that promise to our customers, because that's the base of what customer expects and the base that we can grow to enhance their experience. But you mentioned many times one very important word. It's all about people.
Yeah.
Developing them, training them. So my question to you as a leader, how do you motivate your people? How do you achieve that?
So once I had a training with a professor from a university from the US, and he said that the right decision comes from the critical thinking. And so that's why I try to drive trainings by implementing the critical thinking. Also through support, feedback, and the fairness as well. So that everybody, me as a manager, I need to recognize every team member's effort, and also I need to value it. I need to clarify and underline it. But for example, if somebody can't do anything, I need to explain and support my team members.
This is really insightful, hearing this kind of approach for such a young and up-and-coming leader, and leader in its own right. So it comes, just to ask me, what is your development philosophy? How do you develop the team, and how do you develop your department? Do you have a philosophy that kind of underpins everything that you do?
To be on the same page with the team members, to explain the difficult tasks, tools, standards in an easy words, in an easy way. And for example, to explain how to reach our goals, how to implement our goals, and bring everything we want to implement, clarify the certain way, and determine it. And so that's my philosophy.
Thank you for sharing, Erbol, your philosophy. It's great to hear that you have already established your, I wouldn't call it routine, because philosophy or kind of the way you approach things always grows and develops. But it's great to hear where you are today as a leader and how do you approach your team on a regular basis. You work in an industry or in a discipline within the hospitality industry, which is food and beverage. There are always new trends. There's always new concept coming up on the market.
That's true.
How do you keep up with the trends, or how do you evaluate all the trends which are taking place on the market?
So for me, first of all, it's important to be flexible because, for example, if take our salters as an example, that's all about the meat, about the heavy food. And as you know, the vegetarian and the vegan consumers are getting more and more. And they are demanding us to have such kind of items, for example, in our menus. So that's why we need to be flexible in this way as well. So, and also, just because I had a workshop, I know that the alcohol beverages consuming are getting decreasing. And so that's why we decided to implement, for example, the 808 mocktails, just to have a selection of the cocktail, but without the alcohol bases inside. And trends all about to find your customer. That's all about to provide everything for customers, for example, who loves to eat meat or who loves to eat some dishes from the vegetarian menu, or to consume any kind of selection from the alcohol beverages or non-alcohol beverages. So that's all about to take all together and to have nice presented menus, nicely trained staff to implement that kind of a goal in general.
So what I hear from you when it comes to trends, it's all about almost 360 approach, from the product to training to menus.
Of course.
And what I really enjoyed that you shared, that you're trying to be on top of the trends, knowledgeable, attending workshops, listening, following what's happening on the market. I think that's another very important aspect of food and beverage and understanding the trends. But with trends, obviously, the guest preferences change.
Of course.
So how do you remain yourself, or how do you keep your team on top when it comes to guest preferences, either because of the changing in trend, or just when you have a guest that has a very specific preference and he enters any of your outlets?
Well, that's all about listen our guests, our customers actively, to use their feedbacks, also to observe the guest behavior in general, and to adjust process as needed. So again, as I mentioned previously, the flexibility is essential. For example, at the moment we have a digital time, and so that's why the digital menu, digital tool also, it's very important. And as you mentioned previously, first of all, we as a manager, we need to be good in this For example, if we speak about the digital tools in general, AI, for example, the e-computing, for instance, digital menus, digital outlets, and first of all, we need to find out the way how to implement it in an easy way, in an understandable way, and again to train people, and also to spread the information data among our customers in general.
It's great that you're sharing definitely not only preferences when it comes to what people like to eat and drink,
Yes.
but as well how they like to communicate, how they like to be informed, how they like to receive information or search for restaurants. This is definitely one, I wouldn't call it new preference, but it's a preference that is now critical. Without it, no outlet can be successful and reach the critical mass of audience and be relevant. So, in a nutshell, being a successful food and beverage leader, for somebody that aspires to be the same as you or would like to jump in the food and beverage waters to be the outlet manager or a leader of a food and beverage organization, what would be your advice for them?
Taking into account my experience, I would say that first of all, that all about to have a sense of the ownership, because as you know, the ownership it's quite different than the responsibility, and to understand that the service that's all about the business, and the in general hospitality that's all about the emotions, and also as you know the service that's all about the business, how to entertain in general our customers to bring more income to our outlets, for instance. And also we need to remember about the hospitality in general. That's all about the experience, about the emotions, which also have the influence, and our customers will come back again. They will return to our premises. And the next, that's about the responsibility again, and don't be afraid of, because step by step moving, developing your skills such as the soft and the hard skills, also developing the communication skills, and at the end you'll be successful one.
These are really some very important words, and for me really what stands out is responsibility through emotions, creating memories, and that's the way we drive our business to be successful, because we are here in the business of creating emotions and memories in any aspect of hospitality or food and beverage. And very well put. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to take the first step, because that's how all we grow. And I'm sure this is
true.
what brought you so far for sure, Erbol. It was a pleasure to have you with our
you.
loud podcast audience, to share your vision of somebody that is up and coming, and it's already established, I would say, with all the accolades you deservedly achieved with Salters, a leader in our market. Thank you for sharing your vision on food and beverage and what is next up and coming, and why the trends and preferences are important. I'm certain for many of our followers or audience out there, there was some great insight for somebody that's really delivering those emotions and experiences for our customers every single day.
Thank you for inviting. It was a pleasure to be here to share with my thoughts, experience in general, and I do hope, as you mentioned, that what I shared with you and with our audience, that it will be helpful, and that somebody will use it.
Thank you, Erbol. To our dear loud audience, thank you for following us. Thank you for being present with us. I hope during the whole podcast. I truly believe that the knowledge, experiences, I would dare to say wisdom of the three great leaders, I would even say three different generations of leaders that have shared here on the podcast were insightful, that they motivated you, that they were energetic, and probably, and I hope so, gave you some advice to grow your career in any industry, but I truly hope the hospitality industry especially. I wish you all the best, all the successes in your career, all the successes in your endeavors. I do hope that potentially you will join our Marriott family and grow with us in the future. But even if not, I wish you all the best from the heart, from the Sheraton Astana team, and from our Sheraton community. Up to next opportunity to see you as a guest or as a colleague, or maybe just on another podcast. Thank you for following.